This is the first time Bitcoin has tested and broken a 436-day structure. And as it currently stands, it is now looking to build and consolidate above this level, which essentially means bullish. But is all of the confirmation in today? And what if you missed out on buying Bitcoin at the lower prices under 19,500, as we have covered here on the channel for many months? Where is the next best buying opportunity? So in today's video, let's answer those simple questions. Where is the next best buying opportunity? And is this the macro confirmation breakout that we've all been waiting for to kiss that $10,000 Bitcoin goodbye? No, essentially it is, are we flipping from a bear to a bull? I'll stop giving the $10,000 bearish guys a hard time, but in the meantime, if you could give me a good time and smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel, bell notification, you know where all the links are, you know what the drill is. Let's go on with today's video, and we're looking at this extreme breakout. I enjoy that term so much because this is the logarithmic bear market downtrend. It's from the all-time high in November of 2021 and joined to the peak of March in 2022. Now, why is this peak important? Well, you can see the trend there. That's basically held the market down, this entire bear market, plus that particular peak in the market was a monthly swing top. So that's a very extreme or a very important turning point in the market as well. So what we've just done over the last few days is actually break out of this downtrend, the logarithmic downtrend. We broke out of the linear quite some time ago. That was back right here on the 4th of October. And now we look at the logarithmic downtrend because this is the more difficult downtrend to break out of, just like it is when it comes to the bull market logarithmic trend. If it breaks above that, you start to get faster moves to the upside. Now we're looking at this to the downside. Not saying we're going to get faster moves here, but it's a good signal for the macro play to break out of the logarithmic. And like we just looked at, this is currently, for now, at least the last 1, 2, into our third day now, attempting to consolidate above this particular level. The short-term stuff, the more weaker points, before I get into the more bullish stuff, is that the trends are starting to shorten. So you can see the move here on the swing chart, and this is the TIA Gann swing indicator here, the specific tool that we've developed. This is what I use for all of my trading, short-term, long-term, to identify the trend, to know where to put my stops for taking profit and for loss mitigation as well. What you can see here is we had a really big move up, and now this next move has shortened again. So meaning that it seems like the buying is starting to wear out to the upside. That's just the short-term stuff for now, which could potentially lead to the market falling under this. It's good to look at both sides of the market just in case. But for now, as it stands, what we currently have in terms of the data is we're getting a nice close, or a few days close now above this level, and a potential consolidation above this logarithmic downtrend. So that's a good start, or a good continuation to this bullish momentum that we've seen out of the lows from November. So just carrying on from this move to the upside. So this has been 436 days in the making. What has happened in the past? Has this been a really big signal for Bitcoin in the past? That's what we'll look at as well today, to see whether this is such an important point or not. I posted about this on Twitter, so it's a much easier place to stay up to date with a lot of these macro charts. Links are in the video description. But essentially, what are we looking at today? Is this an important turning point? Well, let's take a look back at just one cycle ago. I don't really want to look at multiple, we'll get to that, but just even one cycle ago. You can see that the move in 2019 basically broke through the logarithmic downtrend you got from the all-time high. This was a significant swing top as well. That was before the market collapsed in the November period. And pretty interesting to note that the current November period that we had the low in for Bitcoin is almost like an exact repeat of exactly 4 years ago. There was a period of consolidation under these levels, and then a breakout, and then a small little test here before the market continued up. I'm not saying that this is going to happen exactly the same as last time, but it's interesting to note that we've had a very similar pattern to what happened last time when Bitcoin broke out of the logarithmic downtrend. And so last time, same thing happened. We had the swings all the way to the downside, the collapse, the consolidation, and then the breakout to the upside. Now, overall, the market did continue up and then had a little bit of a pullback. And I want to get to that later in case you have missed out buying Bitcoin at these lower prices. I know we talked about it extensively here on the channel for reasons why I thought buying under 19,500 was fantastic buying opportunities and to not miss out on that. So in terms of this, swing chart has shown again in the previous cycle. Let's go back another cycle and have a look at that, and then also look at it in the macro sense, looking at it on a monthly swing top as well. So we just looked at just the weekly swing tops here, and if we want to use this tool and just show the 2-week swing tops, we change this to a 2-bar, and that gives us even more significant turning points. You can see this turning point still remains there as a very significant one itself, all-time high to this top before the market broke down. You can see that it was a clear fake out of the previous swing top where all these other tops were lower than the last. So a clear fake out before the market dump. Very significant. The market broke out of that bear market downtrend and away she goes. We know what the rest is there. The rest is history. New bull markets began. Now going to the previous bear market here as well. So this is going back to 2014. Take a look at the bear market logarithmic. We're on the logarithmic chart here. You can see the top, the next top, the next top. The market broke out during the consolidation, which took several months. We looked at this previously, looking at potential time frames for how long we could remain underneath the great buying opportunity zones, which is this yellow rectangle here. So all of these monthly swing tops now were beneath each other. And we had covered many times before, once the monthly swing chart breaks, once it breaks this potential previous lower top, you can see they were all lower tops, so very, very easy trading there using this tool. You can see we broke it, we tested it, we false broke it, and then the market took off to a new bull market, a very strong bull market, and the monthly swing bottoms were not broken until the end of the move there. So another easy trend to follow from that point. So it happened again the previous cycle as well, essentially looking at where did this market break out of the logarithmic downtrend, right there. You had the breakout here, you had the retest on top of the logarithmic, the bear trend logarithmic line here, and then the market started to move away from that point. Now I've also seen altcoins pump from this point in time, but is it too late to be buying up altcoins? It's something that we've been discussing with our members in TIA as well. And just one opinion here from Michael, my brother, who also works on the Investor Accelerator, producing a lot of content, especially for short-term crypto trading. The big opinion here is now is not the time to be FOMOing in to long-term crypto positions. So why is that? Well, we typically do get a pullback on a lot of these cryptos. They just don't pump up to new all-time highs. And we get that pullback, and we need to figure out from those altcoins, do we see a higher low? That's what you're waiting for on these altcoins. And if you're patient, you'll be able to scoop in again and find those higher lows, which is essentially the market telling you that they are finding value in those cryptos at a higher price. This is on a more macro scale, the weekly, the 2-weekly, the monthly, okay? So that's why we don't need to get FOMO getting into these altcoins just because they're pumped 50, 100%, maybe even 150%. Generally that happens from the lows, and then they fade out again as all of the feeling dries up. And so we're looking at that in terms of Bitcoin as well. Now that we've seen that pump up, will we see that pullback? And where is a good area to be buying Bitcoin now if we don't see a pullback? Because we just don't know for sure if that is going to come. And so on this particular chart here, this was the historical Bitcoin cycle buy zone. All of the yellow rectangles have been fantastic buying opportunities here in the past. So the previous cycle of 2014, buying between the 125 and 0.25. Essentially, it's the top of the cycle to the bottom of the previous cycle using the fib retracement tool, and then just using the 25% and the 12.5%. They're not fib numbers, these are Gann numbers. Okay, so Mr. Gann, we use his analysis to get those numbers. So if you missed out on these zones, which we know from that cycle has been great, we know from the next cycle has also been great in 2018, 2019, and then a black swan event in 2020 being the pandemic low. We had this cycle as well, scooping into that and now bursting out of that zone. Where is the next best buying opportunity for this particular cycle? We've still got some macro stuff to get through, but let's have a look at where this could be. 38.2%. I've drawn this one on the chart because this is a very significant price level as well. Looking at fibs and also for GAN. GAN used 37.5%, close enough. It's a fraction of a percent difference. So the point here is, look at this next range area for the price chart. It's looking like it's a reaccumulation zone if you're looking between the 25% and the 38%. So you're not getting the low, you're not getting the best price possible, but remember how difficult it is to get at those lower prices, so don't feel bad if you missed out on them. You can hear that there's a lot of talk out there of people still looking for $9,000 Bitcoin or $8,000 Bitcoin or $10,000 Bitcoin. It's very difficult to get that right. But of course, we try and stay on the right side of the market as often as possible here. So this particular level is basically just above the breakout. You can see that was a very key significant resistance. Got the nice big breakout, and then again, it formed resistance, which was also support on the way down from that major bear market. So it was reconsolidation and then the move above. So within that 25 to 38, let's have a look at the next cycle. And you can see for the 2018, 19, and 20 bear market, we had an opportunity as the market started to burst out of that zone. And looking to 2019 or December, so you got November, December, and January, you had a brief period of that higher swing low forming for more consolidation and more buying opportunities in this particular price. It burst out of it and then came all the way back into that zone. It also came back into it again when we had the pandemic, but in case there is no black swan event next time around, maybe we get one more opportunity to buy underneath that 38.2% range. And you can see that it was previous resistance on the way down as well. So you got the July 18, monthly swing tops, market dumps from that point. So it was a key level yet again. So what does that look like in terms of prices and data for today? Let's turn it on, the 38%. So remember this particular fib now, there are a lot of lines, but we're just looking at the cycle bottom, the previous cycle, to the current all-time high price. That 38 comes out at around $28,000, which fortunately also lines up with another key support level, which happened to be one of the bear market crashes in May, June, and July of 2021. So it's good to see that there are some key support and resistance levels at those fib lines to add validity to this particular level. So potentially we see the market burst up into 28, maybe a little higher, but then fade out into this zone yet again. So this is potentially now going to form the reaccumulation zone. It's not the greatest buying opportunity within the cycle, but maybe it's going to be the second best buying opportunity within that particular zone. So what does that mean for smart investors and traders? What it means is looking at something like a pyramid structure, not a Ponzi scheme, but a pyramid structure for entering your positions. This you can see is the bottom. You add in the most money at these lower points. Then you add in less money at these next points up. And then if you want to keep buying all the way up, you add in less money again. If you don't, you end up top heavy when the market reverses. You're left with bigger losses. That's how all of the noobs lose every single cycle. Think about the psychology here. They just wet their feet, touch the water with their money, a little bit in. As it starts to go up, you get more confident. Then you start to add in bigger positions. As it goes up even more, everyone's in the market, everyone's excited, then they add in way too much money. Next thing you know, collapse. And all those profits that you had made from this lower point are now evaporated and you lose even more money, even though you got in early. Most people forget this, they screw it up, and that's how the majority of people, you've heard the statistics, 80 to 90% of people lose in the markets because they follow something like this, which is basically an upside down pyramid because they trade on their emotions and not on a logical mathematical plan. So that's some trading and investing tips if you don't have a plan, and how you can stay safe and make more profits in the market. Something that we discuss with our members on a weekly basis with our live group calls. Now we're looking at some of the final major turning points here for this bear to bull market. We've looked at the bear market downtrend, this breaking out. We still need some confirmation here with some more weekly closes. We've also had the monthly swing break of the top from November, but you know I've been calling for a better signal to break the August top, which is at 25,200. And the final thing here is the overbalance in price. So while we wait for another monthly break above this 25.2, I think that's going to be a key area. we do have some great confirmation on the overbalance in price. And what that means is measuring from the low to the high in a significant area of the market. So this was a significant drop into the June low. So we just measure that low to the cycle peak there. That was in the August top. And that was that number we looked at in the previous video here. History is about to repeat on Bitcoin. That one was looking at a price target of $7,600 from the low. So the low was 15,500 and we exceeded that on that day of the video. So fortunately it was good timing there. So where does $7,600 lead us? That led us to $23,100. And just on that day we got 23,000, nearly 400. So it got us a $7,900 move. So the market has decided that if we look this way, it's worthwhile buying more now than what it was from June to the August peak. They have pushed the price in a dollar term higher at this particular point, and now we're just waiting on time to also overbalance. And that time frame is going to lead us out to the end of January or early February to remain above this low of 15.5. So I think the probabilities are on our side for that. So we have a lot more things coming together as for this being the low, forming in November, and the market flipping to the upside. Add that in with our 12, 13 straight days up, which the market has not seen, and you're beginning to put together a beautiful recipe for the early signs of a bear market flipping to a bull. These are firm rules that we can use to continue to add to our spreadsheets, our investment plans, to be confident in the market direction, not just scrambling together some pieces of info all across Twitter and whatnot. This is real data that I use for my analysis to determine the macro trends of the market. Now, if that wasn't enough, I have one fun piece of data as well. This is looking at the bull market that happened in 2020 to 2021. And we're going to flip this and look at how it is almost identical to what's just happened in the current market. So we can see the weekly chart here, market dropping. We've got this little bit of a bottom pattern forming. So you can see where the support was that broke down and then became resistance and then broke out again. When we look at the bull market of 2021, the market rose up, went really, really fast, had the peaks, broke out, and then fell back under that price, which is a very strong bearish signal at that time. We needed a few more factors to come together, but this was one of the first signs there as well. Now, if we flip this chart, invert the scale, doesn't that look awfully familiar to what we are currently seeing right now? Imagine the reds are greens and the greens are red. Taking a look at the bear market downtrend and how fast it was, taking a look at the flip here and how fast the move went up. Remember these greens, this is a flipped chart. You can see the June, pretend this is the June low to the August peak, market fell back down. It's almost a identical flipped chart. And now we're starting to see this move burst out of those lows. You can see the log downtrend here, which in fact is the log uptrend because we've flipped the chart. And then look at what happened from that point there. The market, in this case, collapsed, but of course it's inverted, so it went up at this point. Something interesting to note that how these patterns play out time and time again from a bull to a bear and basically just flipped upside down. It's the same emotions, but in reverse. So I hope you found a ton of value from that video. We'll look at this in a little more detail in future videos, so make sure you do subscribe, bell, like the content, you know the drill if you're finding value from it, and share it with a friend so they can stay up to date with the bear into bull and all that sort of stuff with the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency cycle. Don't let your friends get absolutely destroyed like potentially in the previous cycle. Share the content around. I'll see you guys at the next video and speak to you in the comment section. Until then, peace out from Dubai.